Hello, pandas of the internet. My name is Panda-chan. I'm a full-time artist-ish, a part-time cosplayer, and for once I'm also the person trying to keep to a consistent schedule. Today I am continuing my exploration of the solo ttrpg library I have accumulated. The large amount of games I have obtained was thanks to the Solo But Not Alone fundraiser, which has been raising funds for the Jaspers Game Day project 3 years in a row. To be unbiased, I decided to use a random number generator, so the game it chose for us today is Welcome to the Habitrails. Welcome to the Habitrails is a solo ttrpg made by A. Yoland. It is a game inspired by media like Roadside Picnic, Under the Skin, Silent Hill, and WandaVision. As a fun little treat for the player, it includes a link to a Spotify playlist which set a wonderful atmosphere. I did ask the creator for permission to make a playthrough of this game, but again, all my opinions will be my own. To play, we will need a set of tarot cards. This time I'm using the Mystical Manga Tarot deck. Before I begin, I should warn that this game invokes feelings of depression, mental illness, horror, and hopelessness. I will do my best not to make this overly upsetting, but since these are some of the core elements of the game, I would say proceed with caution. That being said, let's get into the game and see what challenges we will face in this world. It's gonna be a long one. To play, you draw tarot cards and see what the day's events will bring. You use the cards to create a diary entry. The game ends when you pull 4 of the same royal cards and follow the specific prompts. The average playthrough lasts about 3 hours and about 25 in-game days. Mine was about 32 days, but I have daddled on long enough. Let's get into the game. Who I was before? No one particularly special, I guess. I was just another forgettable face, a waitress that worked in an understaffed and underpaid cafe. I wanted to be an artist when I grew up, but life has a habit of not working out the way you plan when you're a kid. Sometimes it felt my only reason to get out of bed in the morning was to take my golden retriever on a walk. I can't seem to remember his name though. I can recall having a picnic and watching him run in the park when I close my eyes, but it's a blurry memory at best. Was I with friends? I can't remember any names at all. To be fair, putting names to faces was never my strong suit, but still, you'd think I would at least remember my own. Now, I'm here, wherever this place is. It's my house, I think, or at least now it is. It's funny, I never imagined being able to afford a home, but here I am. It has a small balcony with a really comfortable couch and a desk covered in coffee stains and paint. It definitely looks like something I would have. Most of the house has art supplies hidden in every nook and cranny. Everywhere I check, I can usually find some paints, or at the very least a marker. I haven't met many people yet since I never left my home, but I get to see an elderly lady walk her dogs out every time I go to my balcony. She waves at me. I'm guessing she lives nearby. It doesn't seem like I need to worry about food since the fridge is full for now, but I will need to figure out where to go to find more eventually. I'm a bit hesitant to go outside into the neighborhood. It seems wrong. I can't put my finger on it, but I am not in any hurry to find out. It's unsettling just staying on the balcony for too long. For now, I will focus my efforts to the inside of the house. Maybe it holds some secrets that I can use to make sense of all of this, or at least figure out how I got here. Day 3. Despite how ridiculous it might sound, I think the house is listening to my thoughts, or rather bending to them. Today I thought about how nice it would be if the house I lived in had a color-coordinated kitchen. And the next time I walked into it, it was all in wonderful shades of yellow, monochromatic and organized. Even the paints were neatly organized into yellow jars and labeled for ease of access. I tried testing it with the balcony too. The coffee table changed into a cleaned and polished glass one. So, I guess I do have some power here. I didn't change the coffee table back to normal later on. Just feels right. The coffee stains and paint splatters just fit. Day 4. I couldn't sleep tonight, so I made myself some hot cocoa and decided to go to my balcony to stargaze. The night sky was filled with a colorful phenomena. It was brighter and there were more colors than I have ever seen in my life. I saw some neighbors walk out of their houses onto the street and just stare up into the sky. I'm so far from wherever my life was before. I should feel sad, remorseful. I should probably grieve the life I've lost, but I don't remember it. Not clearly, enough to feel upset. I want to find out why I'm here. There is only one way to move, and that's forward. I think I'll talk to the old lady with the dogs when I see her next. Maybe she knows something? Day 5. Today I finally went outside. I was trying to catch up with the old lady. It's still unnerving, but I think I figured out why. There's a near constant drone of cicadas in the air. It almost feels like an electricity buzz that's a bit too loud to ignore. While I was walking, a set of kids ran up to me, with their mother not far behind. I don't think I saw a family in the neighborhood. I never even saw a couple. The kids were really sweet. I wanted to be a parent when I got older, and I get along with children well. The kids asked me to play with them, and I happily accepted. It was fun playing with them, and I got to chat with Adeline, the mother, for a while. She is a really lovely lady. She invited me over for tea sometime, and showed me where she lived. The house isn't too far from mine, so I happily accepted. Day 6. A couple of days ago, I went down to my basement and managed to find a radio. I don't think its appearance was my doing. Everything I make in my house looks shiny and smells faintly of turpentine. But this was covered in dust and cobwebs. I wanted to see if it actually worked, so I brought it up to my balcony and turned it on. Surprisingly, it did. A melodic sound drowned out the buzzing of cicadas, and I sat down to relax and listen to it. The neighborhood has been buzzing with the news ever since. I see some neighbors come to my front yard to listen to it. I guess they don't like the sounds those bugs make either. Every time they see me, they make awkward small talk and ask where I got it. I'm not a social person, but I did offer to keep the radio on the balcony so people can come and listen to it when they want to. Day 7. It's not quite day 7, I guess. It's been more, I think. Days kinda blend into one another, or rather, I've been busy, so I forgot to write. I rearranged the entirety of my home. Not too much, but just tweaking things here and there. There has been a lot of ups and downs, days where I have been more productive, days where I have barely moved. But all in all, I adjusted pretty well. Something unbelievable did happen, though. I went out on a date recently with Adeline, the mom of the 2 kids, Ida and Jace. She was really sweet. She showed me a lovely park where we had a picnic and just talked for hours. I never had time to do these things before. It's weird. I'm in this strange new place, away from everything and everyone I knew before, and my biggest accomplishment is going out on a date. Day 8. I was yet again exploring the basement of my home when I came upon a really old box. It turned out to be a gaming console, I think from Nintendo? But I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere. Maybe it was from a limited edition release, since it's in a language I can't understand. At least I can connect it to my TV, which is incredible. There are some games here too. Some of them are really creepy and unnerving, but I've found one that seems to be relatively straightforward and pretty fun. It's about a knight who is collecting coins. It's a good distraction, and maybe Ida and Jace will like it too. Day 9. I haven't seen the old lady with the dogs for a couple of days. I decided to ask around about her. Maybe some of my neighbors know what happened? I guess I wasn't the only one who noted her missing. Rumors are spreading that she disappeared while walking next to the Gothic building at the far end of the neighborhood. Some of her friends are going to check if she's inside. People did say that it's cursed. Adeline said that there are strange noises coming from it and just the creepiest aura ever. Even so, I will probably join the party who are looking for her. We didn't find her. As soon as we entered the house, a whirlwind of cicadas started shrieking, and somehow a thunderstorm formed in the entryway. Some people tried to walk inside, but the wind was too strong, and we couldn't get past the front door. Day 10. On occasion, I get lost in a daydream while on my balcony. The sound of the radio drowning out the droning gloom of the cicadas, and the chatter of the people reminding me of the chatter in the cafe I used to work at. I think about how it would feel to live here forever. I could probably will the bottom floor of my home into a cozy little cafe for all the people to gather. I could provide a small safe haven from the droning buzz, and a community could form. People don't interact here much, that's what I was told, but I guess things have changed a bit as of recently. I think it is an actually achievable goal, but I don't want to drastically alter my home. It might arouse suspicion. I don't really think it's normal to be able to adjust things just by thinking, but I never asked. Day 11. How did this happen? I was just leaving my home to visit Adeline. We had another date planned. When I went outside, out of nowhere, there was a strange object falling from the sky. Whatever it was big and on fire. I ran, but it fell directly onto my home and sent me flying, crashing against the pavement so hard I blacked out. Apparently, my neighbors pulled me out of the wreck, but my home is gone. All of it destroyed. The art supplies, the gaming console, the radio. Adeline offered me to stay with her. That was really sweet of her, and the kiddos keep me distracted for the most part, but there's no more music to drown out the constant buzz. So, it's not going to be an easy adjustment. Day 12. Today I woke up in the front yard, barely wearing enough to be considered decent. I have a vague memory of the neighbors inviting me to get some drinks to cheer me up after losing my home. It was a blast. I remember dancing with Adeline and I made a couple of new friends. Sam and, what's his face? Like I said, I'm terrible with names. Although, the more I think about it, the blurrier the memories get. The biggest surprise to me is that I woke up in my own front yard. And stranger still is that I could have sworn the building was more destroyed than this. Day 13. A new neighbor moved in next door. It's an old lady with a litter of puppies. She doesn't speak the same language, but she is friendly and sweet. She brought us some cookies. It seems that the cicadas keep giving her a headache, so I drew her a map of the neighborhood and marked some of the places where the bugs are not as loud, so she can walk her puppies in peace, if not quiet. For some reason I swear I've seen her somewhere before, but I can't exactly remember where. Day 14. Adeline's kitchen had been having a leak, something with the pipe. We were planning to deal with it soon, but it wasn't the biggest priority. I guess we misjudged the situation because Jace decided to play with it. How can a 10-year-old be strong enough to break a steel pipe like that? Adeline's entire home got flooded. Unlike mine, it was a one-story home, and for some reason the pipe had an exorbitant amount of water, like it was containing a small lake or something. Regardless, all of Adeline's belongings have been either swept away, destroyed by water damage, or at the very minimum, severely waterlogged. I'm just happy no one got hurt, but this makes the second home destroyed in less than a week. Day 15. A lot of shouting was coming from the outside while Adeline and I were trying to salvage anything from her home. Not too much success. When we went to investigate the source of the commotion, we found it to be a big dog, barking and running around. I don't remember ever seeing a dog this big. Most of the neighbors were scared and hiding from it, but it wasn't going to stop on its own. I tried calling for it, and it eventually rushed up to me. Surprisingly, the collar on him said my address. And it started leading me somewhere. It led me to my home. It's fully rebuilt and standing as if nothing ever touched it. I don't remember ever having a dog in my life. Or did I? I don't know. But I guess I have one now. I told Adeline that they can stay with me for the time being, so I guess we're moving back home. Day 16. Sam stormed into my house today with the most exasperated sigh ever. It seems him and his boyfriend broke up. I made him some tea and we sat on the balcony listening to the radio. Apparently, Emmanuel never listened to what Sam had to say and always did things without planning ahead. I tried to reassure him that it would be okay and that Emmanuel will probably be apologizing in less than a day. But Adeline is certain that they were never a good match to begin with, and that Sam should not take him back if it comes down to it. I guess I have another guest staying for the night. I'm just happy I have enough space for everyone. Day 17. I think it's been a year or so at this point. I don't even remember when I stopped writing in here. I guess that life just got too hectic to keep track. Adeline and I are officially dating. Ida has celebrated her 7th birthday, and Sam has moved into the attic. Him and what's-his-face are still not speaking, so that hasn't changed. At this point, I have grown pretty adept at living here. The old lady walks her dogs every 3 hours. and a giant fiery thing falls into the neighborhood every month or so. There's also strange shadowy tree things that show up every 3 weeks, which then means that it's going to rain for a while, which is nice since the weather rarely changes here. The cicadas buzz as usual, and I still keep the radio on so that the neighbors feel a bit better. I keep losing things though. I think that's why I stopped writing in my journal. I couldn't find it, right? Day 18. Sam is organizing a block party. Things have been dull and somewhat depressing for the past couple of weeks, and people keep saying they see weird things in the shadows. Sam took that to mean that people need a way to relieve their stress and come together for a party, which is just as well. Everyone brought a little something to share and enjoy. The old lady made cookies. The radio was on full volume so people can dance, and some neighbors even brought alcohol. Overall, it was really fun, and we partied late into the night. In the end, it really was a good way for people to forget some of the weirdness of this place. Day 19. When I first came here, I was alone, with my thoughts, and surrounded with art supplies and silence. Now, there is constantly someone or something that needs my attention, whether it be Adeline, one of the kids, Sam, one of the other neighbors, or this dog that somehow showed up in my house today. Why is there a dog in my house? It's all too much, everything, all at once. I think I'm on the verge of a mental breakdown. I was so frustrated, I felt so isolated, even though I'm surrounded with people all the time. People who always need my help. When did I become a core pillar of this community, and why? I lashed out and ended up breaking a pendant that Adeline gave me. This just made me feel worse. Day 20. The neighborhood is no stranger to unusual weather. It's actually really accustomed to it. But today, the sun didn't rise. It was gone for 18 hours, at which point people started to panic. I have had people panicked coming up to my door to see if I knew anything, and the best I could do was give them some hot cocoa and ensure that the sun will be rising. But after 48 hours, I started to doubt my own words. I don't think we can survive in the dark for long. Not only does it pose a threat to our mental health, but people keep saying they see things in the dark. One of the neighbors got attacked by something recently. The injuries look bad, so I hope the sun will be coming back soon. Day 21. It's often the easiest tasks that are the most difficult. For me, it's doing the dishes. It always makes me feel like I will never be able to accomplish anything in life. Every time I do it, there's just the memory of someone yelling at me for no reason. I avoid it if I can. It used to make Adeline frustrated, but then she saw me crying while trying to wash a cup, and banned me from doing them. It was really sweet of her. She suggested that she can do the dishes if I sweep the floor. Day 22. A shrill screech woke me up in the middle of the night. Luckily it didn't wake up Adeline though. When I looked outside for the source of the noise, I saw it. A tall creature with red eyes staring at me. It was perched on the tree outside and just looked at me for a moment before leaping out of sight. The morning after, I found out that one of the neighbors died in their sleep. It was a really unexpected death, as he was not sick at all and pretty young. It was such a strange death. The creature might have had something to do with it? Are these the creatures that people talk about hiding in the shadows? Should I be worried? Day 23. Today, the phone rang. When did we even get a phone? Adeline was out with the kids, so I picked up. It was a coworker who I was really close to. She asked for me by name. My name. What was it again? I tried to talk to her, but no matter how loud I was, no matter how loudly I screamed, she couldn't hear me. It was pointless. She eventually hung up. I stayed there with the phone pressed to my ear until Adeline came back home. She said I was crying. How long did I stand there? Why was I so sad? Day 24. A strange man knocked on my door today. He is apparently the sheriff of this neighborhood. He flashed a badge and a gun, and handed me a small pamphlet with laws. Something to keep everyone safe, he explained. I shrugged and started looking through the pamphlet. Apparently, for the safety of everyone in the neighborhood, we are to keep the lights on in the house all night long, and he wants us to report any suspicious behavior directly to him. I don't really know if he can single-handedly keep everyone in the neighborhood in check. It seems a big task for a single man. Day 25. As I was playing with Jace and Dita in the front yard, I saw one of those meteors falling onto the house across from mine. It burst into flame and rubble as I heard screaming coming from inside. I instructed the kids to go inside and ran over to help. An elderly man was stuck inside, and along with some other neighbors, I was able to pull him out of the wreckage. Although he was a bit hurt, I'm sure he'll make a full recovery. There's a lady who is quite skilled in first aid. I think she used to be a nurse. She said she'll look after him for a while until the old man recovers. Day 26. With the new law in place, a strange shortage has become more and more of a problem. The neighborhood does not have enough light bulbs to ensure the lights stay on all night every night. It's a strange dilemma to have. For some reason, even if I try my best to manifest some extra ones in the house, it just doesn't seem to work. And people keep complaining about the law. I have been able to manifest a steady supply of candles, so for now we are managing well enough. Sam keeps complaining about the danger of having open flames with kids and a dog around, which is weird. I don't remember us having a dog. Adeline assures me that we do in fact have one, so I'll trust her. Day 27. I was trying to see the limits of the neighborhood, trying to find a store or something to maybe find a solution to our light bulb problem, when I stepped into a bear trap. Who puts a bear trap in a park? I don't know how long I was stuck there, but I knew for a fact that my ankle was broken. I was sure I was just going to bleed out there, never to be found. Then I heard someone approaching. A strange tall man in a black suit approached me and asked if I needed help. He wanted something in return for his help, but wouldn't let me know what that was. I'm a bit scared, but I couldn't die there and then, so I accepted his help. Day 28. It sometimes feels a bit cramped here. There's me, the original resident, Adeline, my girlfriend, and her two kids, Ida and Jace. Oh, and Sam, a friend who has slowly become a permanent resident, not to mention the dog. With 6 people under the same roof, I sometimes feel like there's not enough space, especially since the kids will grow up soon. Adeline brought up the option of finding a new place to live, but I don't want to leave my home. I think I can make this work. I can rearrange some rooms and make it more livable. We can convert the attic into the kids' room and make either the study or my art room into Sam's room. But I think it would need a family meeting to decide on a plan of action. Thinking about home arrangements is about all I can do while sitting around and trying to heal. Day 29. It has been years since I've written in this last. So much has changed. Jace celebrated his 15th birthday recently. We have also finished renovating the house. It's far more suited for a big family now. Sam is spending more time with his boyfriend, and he might move in soon as well. This one is far better suited for him, I think. There has been so many new faces that have come to the neighborhood, and several old ones have left us. The reason I'm even writing in here is because I'm actually nervous. I'm getting married today. Me and Adeline finally decided to make it official, and I could not be happier. The weather is perfect, the neighborhood is festive, and even the cicadas are humming with the music as though to celebrate the occasion. Day 30. With the amount of new people in the neighborhood, there are a lot of people I don't know. So when a young lady invited me to her house, I was admittedly surprised. When I arrived, it was a religious thing. The religion being worshipping the neighborhood itself. It is a strange and unsettling thing. I admit that I have not been this weirded out in a long time. I thought I was accustomed to the place and its weirdness by now. It brought back the silent fear and anxiety from the first couple of days I spent in the neighborhood. I stayed for the strange sermon and the cult dancing, but declined to join them next time. I will be informing the sheriff of what has happened, as I do think this is against one of the laws he put in place. I'll have to check. Day 31. Back in my last life, before the neighborhood, I never had time or mental energy to exercise, but now Adeline never lets me slack on it. We go jogging almost every morning and have a regular routine. She makes sure that all of us are in shape and ready. Maybe she's scared of the things in the shadows, or maybe she's worried about the cult that recently formed. Maybe it's something that I don't even know about yet. Whatever the case, I want to be ready for whatever happens in the neighborhood. Day 32. It's been so long. So many years. Ida and Jace are almost adults by now. And I am the same as I was before. Sam is the same too. Adeline is the same. Nothing changed. I look just like I did when I first came here. We seem to be frozen in time. Will Ida and Jace freeze in time too? Or will they continue to age? The neighborhood has changed, but stayed the same as well. The old lady still walks her dogs every 3 hours. The cicadas still sing relentlessly, and every so often a flaming thing destroys one of the houses. It sometimes feels exhausting living here. I still sit on my balcony and observe the neighbors as they idle around listening to the radio. Every time I close my eyes at night, I see how I will die. It's the man who helped me in the park all those years ago. He has red glowing eyes, like the creatures who hide in the shadows. And after the life I've built here, I'm scared. I don't know if I'm ready for it, but that's life. You live it until you don't. So I'll enjoy it while I still have time. With that, Welcome to the Habitrails comes to a close. I didn't expect the narrative to go the way that it did, but here we are. It somehow feels fitting for Pride Month. I really liked going through this adventure, and I hope you enjoyed the more narrative focus of the game. The prompts were solid enough that I felt comfortable with the direction of the story and its consistency, but vague enough to ensure that I did not feel limited by them. I hope it was okay that I didn't go into that much detail about the mechanics, but I thought this would be more fun. The game really reminded me of Welcome to Night Vale, which I have been a big fan of for a while, so I think I ended up leaning more into that. To be completely fair, I am not usually one for modern RPGs, though this has somewhat changed my mind. That being said, I will put the links to the creator of the game in the description, as well as a link to Jaspers Game Day. I hope you enjoyed the game. Leave a like, maybe comment and subscribe. And I hope you'll check in again next time.